have Sirsasana or headstand. And I'm going to talk you through sort of how to get there while Carolina demonstrates. So first thing is you want to set up your elbows the right way. So you're going to measure the distance by holding on to the outer edges of your elbows, and that is shoulder distance apart. So once you've got that, you can clasp the hands. Now, you want to clasp the hands open, and you want to be pressing the fingers so tightly together that if you were to hold water in your hands, it wouldn't seep through. So when you press your fingers so tightly together, you're going to feel your shoulders and upper back activate. That's what you want in headstand. So we want to be pressing so hard into our elbows, forearms, and hands that our head stays very light on the mat. I like to compare it, if you had a piece of paper underneath your head, I could just very easily come by and slide it out from underneath. Now the thumbs are up because the thumbs will cradle the head and the pinkies are resting on the mat. There may be some adjusting depending on the anatomy of your hands, some flexibility there, but basically that's the position. So palms open, elbows pressing into the mat, wrists, forearms pressing into the mat, thumbs cradling the head. So from here on your knees, you want to press so hard and feel that activation in the shoulders and the upper back. Then place the very tip top of the head on the mat. The very back of the head is cradled in the hands. Now, before Carolina does anything else, I'm going to ask her to press so hard into the elbows and forearms that your head lifts off the mat. See what happens here? So sink back down again. So you'll see the shoulder blades will sort of stick out a little bit, and then as soon as she presses up, she's broadening her shoulder blades, rounding her spine. That's an external rotation in the shoulders that you want for headstand. We also don't want any pressure on the head, so there will be no wrinkles in the neck through this whole process. So once she feels confident that she can lift her head up here, I'll ask her to stand up on her feet. From here, I'm going to say again, press so hard into your elbows and forearms that your head lifts off the mat. Press, press, press. Nice. Now, then she'll walk her feet as close to her face as she can. And before she goes on from there, again, I'm going to say, press so hard into the elbows and forearms that the head lifts off the mat. From here, bring one knee into your chest. You may stay here for a little while. Put that leg down, try the other knee. Again, press so hard into the elbows and forearms that the head lifts. Eventually, both knees will float into the chest and we'll be in this ball position. We want to try to avoid any jumping. So we want to float into the ball and then stay here for a long time. She'll play with finding that place where her hips can be up over her shoulders, and you can see she has the perfect alignment here. So I'm okay then here if I know that she's light on her head, there's no wrinkles in the back of her neck, she can press and lift her head off the mat, she can straighten her legs one at a time or both at the same time. To give a spot here, I'm going to put my fist between her shins. I'm going to ask her to squeeze my fist. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. I have a really good hold of her here now. So you hold here in your headstand for anywhere from 10 to 20 breaths. And then you lower down to a pike. Squeeze the legs together. Just go as far as feels comfortable for you now. You would hold here for 10 breaths in the pike. And then you'd come back up for one breath. Now if we're just learning headstand, to get out of it, we're going to come back to the ball, knees down, and then slowly lower back down, come into child pose to rest. Good. So don't be afraid to tell your students to stay in that nice tight ball for a very long time. You want them to feel very safe in that ball, knowing where their sort of tipping points for their hips would be. And we'll demonstrate also how to use the wall in headstand in a moment. So I'm going to just go ahead and demonstrate one more time with headstand, sort of just to recap. So again, you're measuring the distance of the elbows, clasping the hands together, palms open, pinkies resting on the mat, thumbs up, pressing so hard into the mat, so hard, broadening the shoulder blades. So see the difference here, broadening, okay? And let's see if I can demonstrate the camera as well.
Do you want me to bring the camera to you?
I think it's okay here. So this is what you're looking at. The difference of my shoulder blades being like this versus like this. Okay. So from here, placing the tip top of my head on the mat, again, pressing so that the head lifts off the mat. Then stepping up on my feet, doing the same thing again, press and lift. Walk the feet to the face. Again, press and lift. One knee, maybe the other knee, press and lift. Ball. Now notice my hips aren't over my shoulders right now. This takes a lot more strength. That's why the ball is so key, because this strength to get myself here is building the strength that you need for headstand. So then again, once the hips are up over the shoulders, then you can straighten out the legs. Okay, from here, to come into that pike position, the hips are going to shift back slightly as I lower the feet down. Horizontal, hold 5 to 10 breaths. Then you'll come back up for 1 breath. And then again, if you're learning, you'll come to the ball. But if that pike position is very easy, then you'll lower down just like that. And eventually, that's also how you'll get into headstand, is just coming up from the pike position. Keep broadening the shoulder blades. Okay, the counter pose is child pose. And you can rest the hands beside the hips as well.